Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both watching a specific film. Now, this is a specific film that I'm reviewing today that is definitely worth your time and your money. It's called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. This sweet movie was released in select theaters in July and is now available to stream online. It's rated PG and is an hour and 55 minutes. The movie review mom grade I'm giving it is an A. I really enjoyed it, obviously. Let me break it down for you. I'll give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, and even a recommendation for another film that if you like that one, then for sure you're going to like this one, and vice versa. All right. So, in a nutshell, this lovely movie was directed by Anthony Fabian with screenplay help from Carol Cartwright and Keith Thompson, based on the popular book by Paul Gallico. It is such a breath of fresh air. Now, I haven't read the book, so my review is completely based on the movie only. I don't know how to compare, what's missing, what's better in the book, and all that kind of stuff. But the movie itself is just charming. The story is about a widowed cleaning lady in 1950s London who falls madly in love with a couture Dior dress, although she can't afford it, but she decides that she must have one of her own. It feels like a charming fairy tale, really, giving audiences a fresh and lovely experience. She says, it's your lucky day. That's something that Mrs. Harris says many times in the movie. And so today is your lucky day to learn more about this delicious movie. And I love that she has this attitude of waking up and saying, today is my lucky day, just rather than, oh, it's another day. All right. So let me tell you the things that I really liked about the movie. First of all, Leslie Manville gives a truly stellar and even Oscar-worthy performance in this role. Her eyes literally sparkled when she held up that blue Dior dress to her delighted face towards the beginning of the movie. And that's when the moment she fell in love with Dior. Her character at one point comments that she loves Princess Margaret. She actually played Princess Margaret in the Emmy Award winning, incredibly popular and incredibly awesome TV show called The Crown. Have you ever seen that? Just magnificent. I can't wait till the next season. Hurry, get here. Anyway, she provides such depth to this character through the nuances of her facial expressions. And the character is very well written, but she is just Mrs. Harris. You just believe that she is this character. And it is such a joy to spend every minute with her. Some of the filming was actually done in Budapest, since many of the streets and the architecture there look similar to those of Paris. The beautiful fashion show was really fun, especially watching Mrs. Harris's childlike wonder in contrast to the bored expressions of the faces of the wealthy women who were snobby and jaded and had been there before a million times. Great work from the costume designer, Jenny Beavan. That had to have been somewhat intimidating to create these Dior dresses and the whole look and all of that. The soundtrack I thought was even magical. Now, I actually saw a review online that said, oh, the music was really annoying. And I didn't hear that. I was specifically looking or listening for that. And I just thought it was just chipper and just like Mrs. Harris. So many of the British phrases made me laugh out loud. So here's an example of one. This RAF officer comes to Mrs. Harris's house and they take care of some business. And then this RA officer, who's played by Freddie Fox, says, all tickety boo, Mrs. Harris. And she'll say things all the time. I'm like, what does that even mean? That's so adorable. All of the characters have a backstory that just adds layers that defeat any stereotypes. And all of the cast members did a fantastic job, really perfect, in my opinion. Just It was so good. Okay, so now on to the list of things that I didn't like. What's on the list? Nothing. I really enjoyed it. Now, sure, it was about female empowerment, like every other movie today, right? But it wasn't filled with a big political agenda or an angry rant about what Hollywood thinks that we should believe. That's in part because it's a European movie and not one slapped out of Hollywood, and one that has been very critical of these old fashioned traditional values. So I readily admit that some men might not be interested in this, but if they give it a chance, I think that they'll be pleasantly surprised and that they will enjoy it. I think older gentlemen will especially appreciate these old fashioned values and sensibilities that are illustrated in the movie. All right, let me give you some tips for parents. I think some kids will be bored. It's about fashion and an older, widow. However, if they'll give it a chance, they might be tickled. A lot of French is spoken without subtitles. We see some homeless men in Paris, and we actually see a lot of streets where garbage is piled up on the sides of the streets. A person stands close to a fireplace and their clothes catch on fire, which is, super dangerous. The themes that are illustrated beautifully in the movie are follow your dreams, invisible women, the power of a beautiful dress, imagination, hope, beauty, excellence, kindness, money talks, being seen, the working class, and standing up for what you believe is right. So I didn't write any funny lines, even though there are a bunch of them, but I did write a bunch of interesting lines that I want to share with you. They're also written on my moviereviewmom.com website. So Archie, who's played so beautifully by Jason Isaacs, says, nothing wrong with dreaming. Now, I've never seen him play a character like this before. He is delicious as a villain, and he's done it very well in many movies. But in this one, he's just sort of this kind of an old British guy, but not the British, the proper British, like the old country bumpkin type of British guy. Anyway, he's fantastic. As soon as he got onto the screen, I leaned forward because I am such a fan of his. And then Mrs. Harris shows up at this train station or airport. I think she's at the train station. Yeah, she's at the train station. Anyway, and she doesn't really know where to go. And there are some homeless guys. And one of them is very sweet. And he offers to walk her to Dior, to the building, which she's so grateful for. But he says, remember, in France, the worker is king. And I loved that sentiment. There are some moments of love and loss for sure in the movie. And Lambert Wilson, who plays the Marquis de Chassagne, he's talking about his wife who passed, and Mrs. Harris's husband also passed. And he says, we mend, but we don't forget. And I thought that's absolutely true too. And then, speaking of mending and sewing, Leslie Manville is so just mystified and in awe of Dior and these beautiful dresses and ball gowns and all of that. And she tells the workers, the seamstresses in the workroom, she says, it's not sewing, it's making moonlight. And of course, they giggle, but they also appreciate that she recognizes the value in these beautiful dresses and just the value of beauty. And I loved that sentiment too. Okay, there are more lines, but I know you guys like shorter movie reviews. So go over to my website and read the rest of those. They're just so fun. All right. So before we go, let me give you a recommendation for another movie that will probably instantly come to your mind. Now, the style is very different. It's called The Devil Wears Prada. It's modern day and it's in New York City, but there's that same element of beauty and fashion, of course, and female empowerment and independence and self-respect and all of those other types of lessons that are also found in Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. All right, so big thumbs up from me. I just obviously love this movie, and I hope that you do too. All right, I'll catch you in the next movie review. Bye for now.